So what if the secret to a really smart AI isn't building one giant, all-knowing brain, but instead creating a whole team of specialists? Today, we're digging into a clever new architecture that does exactly that. It's a system designed to stop giving you those generic, kinda helpful answers and start providing real, focused expertise. This is how we build an AI that's not just powerful, but actually truly helpful.
You know that feeling, right? You ask your AI assistant a super specific coding question, and what you get back is this vague, high-level essay. Or you ask for help with data analysis, and it just parrots a textbook definition. That's the core frustration with a jack-of-all-trades AI. It knows a little bit about everything, but it's not a master of anything.
And the reason this happens, well, it all comes down to what we can call the one-size-fits-all problem. See, most AI assistants are built on a single massive system prompt. You can think of it like one giant rulebook that's trying to cover everything from writing a poem to debugging Python. And when you try to be an expert at everything, you kind of end up being a true expert at nothing.
Okay, so here's the big shift in thinking. On the left, you've got the old way. It's pretty simple, right? Your question goes into a black box, and you get one generic answer back. But the router way? Oh, this is so much smarter. Your question first hits a router. Think of it like an AI traffic cop that figures out what you really need, and then sends your request to the right specialist. And that right there is the key to getting a truly tailored answer.
The absolute best way to picture this is to imagine a brilliant receptionist working for your AI. Now, this receptionist doesn't even try to answer your questions themselves. Nope. Their job is to listen, really listen, understand exactly what you need, and then connect you to the perfect expert down the hall. That expert is the one who's going to give you the world-class answer.
And this whole system? It's built on a really simple but powerful two-step idea. Classify, then respond. Before the AI even thinks about giving you an answer, its first job is to classify what you're actually asking. It has to get your intent. Only after it's done that does it hand the job over to an expert to give you a response.
Okay, so how does this smart receptionist actually pull it off? How does it know who to send your question to? Let's break down the process.
It's this really neat three-step process. First up, classify. A small, fast AI just glances at your prompt to figure out what you want. Then, route. Based on what it found, the system picks out the perfect expert persona for the job. And finally, generate. That's when the expert AI takes over, using its specialized brain to craft a high-quality response.
Everything kicks off with the classifier agent. Think of this as the system's ear. It's a lightweight, super efficient little AI that has one and only one job. Listen to what you're asking and drop it into the right bucket. It's not trying to answer you, it's just trying to understand you.
So, what are these buckets it's sorting into? Well, the system is basically looking for a few key things. Are you asking about code? Or maybe data? Is this a writing task? Or hey, maybe you need some career advice. And, just as importantly, it has a category for when it's just completely stumped, unclear.
Okay, so once the classifier tags your request, the expert router jumps into action. And honestly, this is where the magic really happens. It acts like an old-school switchboard operator, right? It sees that code tag and instantly connects you to a totally different AI persona, one whose entire purpose in life is to be an amazing coding assistant.
All right, this next part is probably my favorite thing about this whole design because it tackles a huge problem with most AIs. It actually has a plan for when it gets confused. It's called the graceful fallback.
And you might be wondering, right? What happens if your question is kind of vague? What if it doesn't fit neatly into code or data or writing? Does the system just take a wild guess and hope for the best?
Nope, not at all.
The entire philosophy here is so simple but so powerful. Don't guess, just ask. And that's the mark of a truly smart system, isn't it? It knows its own limits, it knows what it doesn't know, and it's not afraid to say so.
So here's how that plays out. If the classifier looks at your prompt and tags it as unclear, or if something just breaks on the back end, the system doesn't just wing it. It hits the brakes, and it just asks you for more information. It'll say something like, "Hey, I'm not quite sure what you mean. Could you clarify?" This one simple step is so critical for stopping bad answers in their tracks and making the whole experience better.
So when you put it all together, the classifier, the router, and this awesome fallback, what do you actually build? Well, it's something way more than just a generic chatbot. You've basically created a whole team of AI experts, all on standby, ready to be called up in a moment's notice.
And the results? They're pretty massive. This whole router approach gives you way more specialization,
which, means better, more accurate answers. It's got much higher context awareness because the expert is already primed for your topic. And at the end of the day, all of that leads to a way better user experience. You actually feel like the AI gets you.
This quote from the project really just nails it. The goal is to deliver highly specialized, context-aware answers. It's all about ditching that one-size-fits-all model for an AI that's more nuanced, more powerful, and, let's be honest, just a lot more useful.
All of this leads to a pretty fascinating question about where we're headed. Have we been chasing the wrong thing all along? Maybe the path to smarter AI isn't about building one single giant brain that knows everything. Maybe it's about building a perfectly coordinated team of specialists, an AI orchestra working together seamlessly. What do you think? Is that the future of AI?